It's 6:50 on the 29th of August 2022, and we're here in Ballymore, County Westmeath, Ireland. This is the site of the, you tell us what, the area here. There you were standing on.
Yeah, we're on the shores of Lough Soody, and we're standing on the original Anglo-Norman Motte and Bailey, which in 1691 was the Jacobite camp. On the 7th of June 1691, the Williamite army arrived here from Mullingar on their way to Athlone, and the Jacobite camp here behind us defended by 1,100 men, 800 soldiers and 850 soldiers, and about 250 rapparees or non-soldiers, and 400 women and children. The Williamite army was 11,000 men, so they were outnumbered by 11 to 1. The Williamite army also had artillery. They had field cannons and had numerous mortars and other heavy equipment. The Irish Jacobites had only 2 small Belgian cannons, which were ineffective. And when the Williamite army arrived here on the 7th of June, they bombarded the fort. They called it for surrender first, and then they bombarded the fort for a day and a half.
From this hill?
From that hill there.
Yeah,
that 4 cannon on that hill. And they called on the defenders here to surrender, and they refused. The defenders, the commander here was a Colonel Ulick Burke, so he refused to surrender. But they had earlier captured a sergeant in the tower in the village, and they'd hung him on the top of the hill that we're looking at, and they told the people in the fort here that that would be their fate if they didn't surrender. But they didn't surrender anyway, and they continued bombarding them then for another 24 hours. And then just below us in the green area here, the next day they set up another 14 or 16 cannon and mortar.
Yeah, close range.
Close range, and rained fire on them for another day.
Probably blasted pathways through the.
Like, it was defended, but it was only defended with wooden fencing. So like, they probably blasted holes in the but the final straw was they launched boats on the lake. The Williamites launched boats on the lake and attacked it from the lake side.
Yeah, poorly defended.
And they couldn't defend it here from the lake side, so they surrendered at that stage.
Actually, the crowd inside here, the Jacobites, must be hungry.
No, they were well provisioned with food.
Are they?
But they had no ammunition.
That was
the problem.
Pikes was what they
very
were.
well provisioned with food for this time they were here. But then that was all seized. And the Williamite army camped here for 9 days, waiting for another section of the army to march up from the south before they attacked Athlone. So they ravaged the whole countryside for 9 days. They lived off the land.
That's what armies had to do. What time of the year was that?
June.
June, so it was a good time of the year.
First week in June.
That's, I think they're only fighting the summertime of the year. Anyway.
True, that's true. They had camped the previous winter in Mullingar, and conditions were terrible there, absolutely terrible. So they decided to move out and
start the campaign again.
The soldiers were all marched out. The ordinary soldiers were marched to Lambay Island off Dublin, and they were left there to starve. The 40 or 50 officers were brought, first of all, to Chester Jail, marched to Chester Jail.
The elites of the army.
The elites of the army, Chester Jail, and from there they were brought to Soho Prison in London.
Soho has another name.
Soho had a different reputation later on.
It's in the centre.
It's unlikely that they ever returned either. The women and children were thrown out onto the countryside, which was overpopulated at that stage as well by refugees, if you want to call them a name nowadays. Refugees from Athlone. Women and children again, and they were trying to live off the...
Well, this is
probably most of them starved as well.
This is a Norman fortification too.
It was the site of the first settlement of Ballymore.
Motte and Bailey there.
And then the Normans came in the 12th century.
And built all this.
They developed the Motte and Bailey system.
That is fine.
The Williamites had been here in 1690, but they left, and the Jacobites came back and occupied it again for a couple of months before June.
Well, that's it now, and we'll round it up.